let's transition a little bit more because we do want to touch on what you were working towards came to reality. And after you graduated, we both
Yeah.
passed the boards. You got your degree, you're a certified athletic trainer, and then you got the position at Waianae High School. Talk a little bit more about that and how did that evolve and what was it like transitioning to that?
Yeah. So just to remind you that when we sat for our board exam, I was 3 days away from my due date.
That's right.
3 days away from Maka's due date. And 2 weeks after we we found out we passed the board exam. Oh no, 2 weeks after we took the exam, I went into labor, had Maka. 2 weeks after we had Maka, we found out we all passed. 2 months after that, we were in Vegas at NATA at the convention. That's when we got our paper, right? For our licensure for getting our EBPs and our CEUs. So then I could actually get employed. And seriously, what opens up, if not a full-time athletic training position at Waianae High School, effective immediately? Got hired 3 months after we graduated as an emergency hire at Waianae High School. You cannot time those things out. It just, you can't make this stuff up. Seriously, you can't make it up. And that's what I wanted to rub in too, was because I remember when we got our results back from our test, I scored the highest score and you scored the second highest score. And I remember thinking, I scored higher than Andrew. I scored higher than Andrew.
No, I don't think I was the second highest score, honestly.
I'm pretty sure you were.
I don't think so.
Well, as long as I scored higher than you. I was like, I'm saying he's the smartest kid in our class, and I scored higher than him. I must have just guessed lucky on a couple of those. Seriously, I had no idea. Man. But I just always love reminding you of that. But so then there I am, literally going in a 6-month time span of graduating, sitting for our board exam, graduating with a master's degree, having a baby, getting a full-time job. Then that Christmas, I sat back and I was like, well, what do I do now? What do I do now? Nothing.
Now you've definitely done a lot since then, and you've been there for over 7 years now, and even navigating through the COVID year, and obviously making an impact on a lot of different student athletes. So let's talk about that a little bit. What are, I know what you're like when you're working. I know the positive message that you're trying to be a figure that people look up to, beyond just taking care of injuries, and also getting everything that you've experienced through athletic trainers, colleagues, and the knowledge that we learn to try to help them in whatever way that you can. But thinking about the past 7 or 8 years, what is, I guess, the most memorable things that you do on a yearly basis? And what is your job like if someone were to ask, what is it like working at Waianae High School as an athletic trainer?
Well, it's definitely changed from when I first started until now. Things always change. But the most stable and I think the most significant thing is that I never realized when I started at Waianae High School when I was young, you don't really kind of think too much like, oh, what kind of athletic trainer am I going to be in 10 years? What kind of athletic trainer am I going to be in 10 years? I was excited to be an athletic trainer. Oh, you want your ankle tape? Yeah. Right. Excited to be an athletic trainer. Waianae High School can be a difficult situation. I am female, obviously. I am white, obviously. I'm a lot younger than most of the coaches and most of, the other administration that was there. It could have been a difficult situation, but I am seriously was meant to be in Waianae, hands down. And I will never go anywhere else ever. I learned really quickly how to connect with my athletes, how to make sure that I am respected, enforce discipline. And I mean, people are like, wow, those are the first two things that Liz says. Oh, when Liz gives an instruction, it is followed to the T. There's no, oh, but miss. That's what I hear a lot. No, my student athletes know, my students know, structure, discipline, accountability are important. Those are not the things that I thought as an athletic trainer that were going to be the most important thing that I could give as far as my career goes. Talking to a kid, sometimes literally being the only person that some of my athletes can come to with issues that they're dealing with. Being the only person that they want to come with because they can't really trust or they're afraid, right? I mean, dealing with things that when we were in school, this kind of stuff was not taught to us. It wasn't taught to us because we didn't get a master's degree in psychology, right? But by far, the biggest and most important part and the biggest influence that I have had at Waianae High School over these years has been as a figure, right? I have students who are now pursuing degrees in athletic training literally only because of me. They went through an experience. I helped them. They now know that this is exactly the type of thing that they want to do. So that's exactly what is the most memorable thing for me. It's not how well of a rehab I did, how many ankles I taped, or how clean my training room is, or any of the other 10,000 normal daily things that I do as an athletic trainer on the day. The things that matters is that I have a kid that emailed me that she's got a 4.0 at Whitworth and she's studying athletic training right now and gives me credit for that. So that right there is the biggest by far factor for me. I have some of the most amazing kids, like kids that they literally become like my own children. They're like, they call me mom. When they're having a hard time dealing with something, they're not even my athletes anymore. They're in college. Some of them are having kids and they're calling me because they need advice on how to treat diaper rash. Seriously. There's no athletic trainer label there anymore. That's just personal connection. That's just like that advantage that we get to have in our job, that lives we get to touch, and relationships that aren't just going to finish when this athlete is done with their season. These are relationships that we're forming now to carry on for the rest of our life. And I love it because it helps keep me in check. Like, don't forget, Liz, how many of these kids are looking up to you? Don't forget, Liz, when you want to lose it in sack and save because somebody's got a problem, don't lose it because half of these kids in the store are your kids and they're going to see you acting nuts. Don't lose it, right? I mean, little things like that. So I think it's definitely more not really about the taping ankles and the filling water coolers. It's by far more about the relationships, the connections, and I just get to be a mom, and I'm like really good at being a mom. So I get to just be a really good mom to a lot of kids. And that's what I love. And I'll never go anywhere. I love Waianae kids. They're the best.
Yes. I mean, you definitely can tell that you love your job. You love what you do. And I like what you've done there to support and create your own culture at Waianae High School, because that's what it is. Once you create some, they know that you care. They know that you're there to support and help them, but you make it in a way that's productive to everybody to create a good program that supports the athletic department. That's something that you have done. And I'm glad to hear that it's going really well and, everything that you're going to do in the future too.